Icon recently announced that their newest 3D printed homes will sell for $195,000, and they're calling that affordable. At first glance, that might sound like a big improvement over the $350,000 to $1.3 million price range for other 3D printed houses in the same area. But the number they don't put in their press release is their production cost at about $40,000. That means $155,000 of that so-called affordable price isn't going to materials, labor, or innovation. It's going straight into someone else's pocket. That's a 79% profit margin, a 79% parasite tax. They're marketing it as a favor to the working people. This is exactly what I wrote about in my 90% parasite tax essay. The parasite tax is everything you pay above the actual cost of producing what you need to live. It's the markup that doesn't build the house, grow the food, or keep the lights on. It just feeds the people who control access to those necessities. When Icon calls $195,000 affordable, what they're really saying is, we could give you this for far less, but we'd rather keep most of your money for ourselves. The only difference between their affordable homes and the inflated $350,000 to $1.3 million range is that they've trimmed the parasite tax from 90% plus down to 79% and expect you to thank them for it. The most telling part is that they're using the exact same core technology I'm running on for the Minnesota Housing Sovereignty Act. Large-scale 3D printing with modern composite blends. This is not some exotic process that justifies a luxury price tag. It's a method designed to slash labor costs, minimize waste, and bring the base price of a home down to something even a working class family can realistically own. In my plan, a 2-bedroom sovereign home, durable, climate resilient, off-grid capable, and occupant owned, comes in around $63,000. Only McMansions should cross over $120,000. And that's not because I'm chasing some fantasy number. It's because I'm building to cost, not to maximize extraction. This is the fundamental difference between the Enlightenment Socialist approach and the market's approach. Under the market, efficiency isn't used to lower the price for the people. It's used to widen the margin for the seller. If a home can be produced for $40,000, the question they ask is, how much can we get away with charging? If the answer is $350,000, they'll take it. If the answer is $195,000, they'll sell that as charity. But the Enlightenment principle says the purpose of a system is to serve the public good. If you can produce a home for $40,000, you charge what's needed to sustain the system, not to line pockets. You design for dignity, not for speculation. From an Enlightenment perspective, housing is not a product to be traded for maximum return. It's part of the material foundation that makes liberty possible. A person who can be priced out of shelter is a person whose freedom is contingent on someone else's permission. That is dependence. And dependence is the soil in which tyranny grows. Icon's model doesn't challenge that dependence. It monetizes it. My model abolishes it by severing the tie between shelter and speculation. A sovereign home doesn't enter the market. It isn't flipped, rented, or treated as an investment vehicle. It's lived in, owned outright after a capped lease-to-own period, and kept permanently off the speculative ledger. The market calls that unrealistic because it refuses to imagine a housing system not built on extraction. But that refusal is a choice. It's the same choice that keeps life-saving medicine priced at hundreds of dollars when it costs a fraction to make. It's the same choice that keeps utility bills rising even as renewable production gets cheaper. It's the logic of the parasite tax. Keep the cost of production low, but never let the price reflect that. The difference is that in housing, that choice doesn't just take money. It takes years of someone's life spent working to pay down a number that was never real in the first place. Icon could sell those homes for under $100,000 and still cover their costs. They could make a reasonable return, fund innovation, and expand production, all while putting thousands of families into permanent, debt-free housing. They don't, because the market rewards extraction, not emancipation. The Enlightenment Socialist answer is to flip that equation, to reward the emancipation and the extraction. We build the homes directly, manage them publicly, and transfer ownership to the people who live in them. No rent, no foreclosure risk, no parasite tax. The next time someone tells you $195,000 is affordable, ask them compared to what? Compared to $1 million 3D printed mansion? Sure. Compared to what it actually costs to build? Not even close. That $155,000 gap is the parasite tax. And it's the real reason people are locked out of housing they could otherwise own outright. The tragedy is that the technology to fix this already exists. The crime is that it's being used to keep the price high instead of bringing it down. We don't need to beg the market to change its mind. We can build a parallel system that bypasses it entirely. That's what the Minnesota Housing Sovereignty Act is. The application of public reason, Enlightenment principle, and modern science to one of humanity's oldest needs. It's proof that the same tools used to extract 79% of a family's future can instead be used to give that future back. The question isn't whether it's possible. The question is whether we keep paying the parasite tax or finally decide to stop.